October 1st, 2021 was a really important day for all of us. Do you remember where we were? We had just withdrawn from Afghanistan, the Delta variant was surging, global supply chains were in crisis, and Wawa and Schmitz were arguing over the better hoagie. And amidst all this chaos, a brilliant idea emerged. On that day, the DoD's submarine industrial base program was created to institutionalize the public-private partnerships to which Arthur has just accredited so much of our historical national success. And now, this year, the submarine industrial base program is evolving to become the maritime industrial base program with even broader promise and scope, which is really great news for all of us here, because the Delaware Valley has everything it takes to become the Silicon Valley of advanced manufacturing. And the Navy can greatly expedite that progress. So if you were inspired by what we achieved in the World War II era, I'm here to tell you how we can actualize that inspiration in 2024. And to answer the question from the last remarks, we're doing it now with the biggest military recapitalization since the Cold War era. So I'm honored to be here today, and I'm here for 3 reasons beyond the scrapple and the Wooter ice and the pretzels. 1, to confirm the vital importance of your contributions to national security. 2, to share how the MIB can help you with what is not just in America's national interest, but in your best business interest as well. And 3, to request your support in our modern day call to action. So thank you to Chris and the fabulous DVIRC and all of you distinguished guests today for the opportunity to collaborate, because right now there's no more important relationship in American security than between the US Navy and manufacturing. And arguably, there's no more important relationship than the US Navy in the most dense supplier area of our country. So I've spent a lot of time down the shore, close enough to know that jeet is a verb. You guys. So it's great to be back because I've been all over the world since, and I gotta tell you, there is no gritty determination anywhere in the world like the Rocky Balboa gritty determination of this particular area. And that's the proud resilience upon which our entire country now relies. Today, the global nuclear arsenal comprises 13,000 warheads, and that's enough firepower to destroy every single living thing on the planet several times over. What prevents their detonation is the undetectable nature of American nuclear power. Now, the land and air-based legs of our nuclear triad, which make up about 30% of the arsenal, are relatively discoverable. But the vast majority, 70%, is undersea and undetectable on submarines. So the submarines that you help build by advancing our industrial base, constructing parts, guiding youth into manufacturing careers, are what successfully deter global aggression. It's due to what we describe in the Navy as a second strike capability. If all our adversaries destroy all our land and air-based bombs, 70% of our nuclear force still remains undiscoverable and mobile undersea. This second strike capability is what categorically prevents a first strike. It's the most important element of our national defense, and it's the basis of our global peace. And it's thanks to so many of you in this room today, since small to mid-sized manufacturers comprise 95% of our submarine manufacturing base. So your products are our nation's ultimate insurance policy. Beyond that, submarines also change the calculus in regional conflicts, guarantee our freedom of the seas, and benefit civilian industries through technological innovation. As former CNO Admiral John Richardson puts it, they're foundational to our very survival as a nation. So what's the problem? The problem is a perfect storm of explosive demand and minimized supply. And our country needs your help to weather it. The majority of our submarine force has already exceeded its intended lifespan. Most were designed for a maximum service life of 35 years, and most are now pushing 42 years. And new builds long ago ordered by this president and the former president and Congresses are now far overdue. To catch up, we must literally double our current and former, production levels, and then sustain those levels for the next 10 years. All of this while our manufacturing base has atrophied to a mere third of what it was just a few decades ago. At that time, the manufacturing sector employed 35% of the American workforce. Today, it employs only 11%. As my friend Drew Crow will later relay, hi Drew, various factors like globalization, the pandemic, and this prevalent go-to-college mindset as the singular path to success have caused catastrophic gaps in employment, with 70% of the current manufacturing workforce due to retire over these crucial next 10 years. 70% due to retire over the crucial next 10 years. So as our fleet ages and demands compound, we find ourselves lacking the manufacturing capacity we once took for granted, precisely when we need it most, and arguably even more than in the World War II era. In fact, Blue Forge Alliance has just recently released a 2024 version of Rosie the Riveter. So let me assure you, this historical demand is by no means a here today, gone tomorrow type of partisan political proposition. It's here now, payment is overdue, and it's compounding by the year for the next 10. This is why the Navy expects to spend over $11 billion over the next 5 years to revitalize the maritime industrial base. So for small to mid-sized manufacturers, this all presents an extraordinarily positive long-term business outlook. It also begs your help in recruiting and retaining the 25,000 new manufacturing workers we'll need now each year for the next 10. And everyone in this manufacturing ecosystem represents an essential link in our national defense supply chain, with no link any less important than any other, no matter how small, because any single point of failure will compromise the entire enterprise. This is why the Maritime Industrial Base Program is so deeply invested in the resources you need to support our shared objectives. Your success has become a national defense imperative. So as a senior fellow emeritus at the Harvard Center for Business and Government, I've lived my professional life at the crossroads of public and private interests, and I've never before witnessed such a compelling mission, nor any that offered us all so much promise. It's the reason that I, as an academic and corporate warrior, did the unthinkable and traded in my business pantsuits for fatigues and headed to boot camp to assist. So now, as a member of Team MIB, I routinely share what Ronald Reagan called the 9 most terrifying words in the English language. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. But seriously, it's a good thing. Because at the Maritime Industrial Base Program, we are simply dedicated to your success. Specifically, through 3 main lines of effort: workforce development, supply chain resilience, and manufacturing technology. Our workforce development programs are led by Director Erica Logan, and I'll share everyone's contact information as the last slide of this presentation. Many, but not enough of you, are members of our Talent Pipeline program, created to align education, training, and industry needs. And if you're not, we encourage you to connect as soon as possible, especially now that the program is even more closely aligned with DVIRC, with Jim Donahue as lead. For anyone, if there is anyone who doesn't know Jim Donahue, Jim, you want to stand up? Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for taking the lead. So any questions about TPP, please see Jim. Also of note is free training. Did you know, for example, that you can send new employees and upskill existing employees at the Accelerated Training and Defense Manufacturing Facility in Danville, Virginia? That's free training for 16 weeks, including lodging. In welding, additive manufacturing, CNC machining, quality assurance, and non-destructive testing, among other trades. And to generally expand the talent pool, ATDM even affords non-affiliated workers training and lodging. And you'll find a brochure on your tables if you have an interest. And then there's our nonprofit partner, Blue Forge Alliance, and its buildsubmarines.com website, promoting well-compensated, family-sustaining careers in service to our country. Who's here from Blue Forge? Catherine Dames, please stand up for a moment. Catherine Dames, Martin Anderson, and Beth Dormeyer. These are the folks responsible for the fantastic commercial ads and website. And how about the Philly Build Subs campaign from DVIRC? Thank you. So we encourage you to speak with the BFA folks at some point today. And for those who haven't yet built an employer profile at the website, we highly encourage you to do so, most especially if you are hiring, because that site will then put your ad on blast through all the major job posting websites, including its own, which has received, to date, over 13 million site visits, 1.6 million applications, and 730,000 job alert requests since its launch last year. Second, our MIB supply chain team has assisted shipbuilders in outsourcing nearly 3 million man-hours from the primes like EB and HII to smaller sourcing partners like you, freeing up much-needed capacity at shipyards while more efficiently and equitably distributing our national workload. And these outsourcing efforts are soon expected to increase to 6 million man-hours annually. And our team has funded 167 supplier development projects over the past 2 years, from which we're already reaping benefits, including a significant 11% improvement in average on-time deliveries on modules. In total, since 2018, we've funded more than 850 initiatives in 36 states. So if you have a project proposal, please bring it to our MIB Supply Chain Director, Mike Zumo, whose contact information will follow. And we'll entertain any proposal that leverages public-private cooperation. The recent acquisition of the Alabama shipyard in Mobile, Alabama, through the infusion of private investment into a disadvantaged opportunity zone, is one example of an out-of-the-box idea that ultimately came to a phenomenally successful fruition. And I think Arthur would be proud. Similarly, MIB's technology area, led by Jesse Geisberg, assists you with rapidly advancing technology. If you're dealing with material availability issues, workforce challenges, or time-intensive inspection problems, Jesse and his team may be able to help with additive manufacturing, robotics, and/or automation, among other solutions. And also, for example, the team recently reverse engineered a 3D printed air throttling valve, reducing its production time from 547 days to 22 days in total. And our aim at MIB is to get 100 3D printed parts on subs by the end of the calendar year. That's 1,000% increase. That's big as King of Prussia Mall. And none of that is possible absent input from you all in manufacturing. So please help us to help you. Which brings us to the numerous ways that you, as members of the small to mid-sized supplier ecosystem, can accelerate our manufacturing catch-up, and in so doing, advantage your bottom lines, because you don't need a uniform to serve our country. Specifically, via communication, collaboration, and retention. First, communication is vital. If you foresee an issue, please be in touch. Our national defense literally rides on the integrity of your business models and their execution. Second, collaboration. We're a team, and trust is key. Engage with our programs, become a TPP member, build a Build Subs profile, train your workers at ATDM and/or hire from its pool of graduates, participate in our pilot programs, engage with your local schools, and collaborate with our workforce, supply, and technology teams. Finally, retention is as critical as recruiting. As David Marquet will later demonstrate, simple elements like recognized employee career aspirations, clear expectations, and feedback all help retain talent even more so than raises, amenities, or perks. So in conclusion, this is a historical national imperative that demands our united effort. And in this effort, we are all shipmates. So I thank you on behalf of all in uniform whose lives you protect every day with the integrity of your parts and the integrity of this industry, and citizens nationwide for your partnership and your dedication. Because I know that in the indefatigable spirit of Rocky Balboa, with all the energy of Eagles fans, Delaware Valley Manufacturing and the Navy will triumph and ascend together for the sake of our industry, for the sake of our country, and for the sake of our world. Thank you.